Hey everyone, Darren here, aka Irish Latino Reacts, Irish on the bottom, Latin American on top, and today we have finally made it. We are watching the finale of Season 1 of The Expanse, Episode 10. So before I get into the meat of my intro, I want to talk to you all about the poll that I'm going to be holding for everyone, my first poll. And if you don't care, you don't want to participate, you can fast forward using the break in the scroll bar below. Now, you all realize still that this is a very new channel, but yet after only being around for a month and a few days at the time of this recording, I already feel so overwhelmed by all of the support you all have shown me. It's been such a great time interacting with you guys in the comments, and I already feel so welcomed as a new member of the Expanse community. Remember that I do this all by myself with a wife and a pug and a full-time job, so your patience between episodes has also been very much appreciated. So we're getting to the end of Season 1 of The Expanse, so I figured it'd be a great time to react to the first movie on my channel before we pick back up with Season 2. I want to do the typical thing, pick 5 movies, poll the group, and react to whatever wins. Now, a poll like this is typically done on a Patreon or a similar platform, but since, like I said, I am so new and my Patreon supporters are small, I want to open this first poll up to YouTube as well. Now, if you're watching on Patreon, don't fret. For this first poll, I plan on counting my Patreon voters' votes as 10 votes instead of 1 or something similar. The poll will drop on Patreon around the same time this full-length reaction does. If you're watching on YouTube, I suspect that the poll will have already been out for a day or two when this edited version drops on YouTube. So go to my channel, go to my posts, and vote. And since this is my first poll, I do want to talk a little bit about each of my choices. For the first 3, I want to stick with sci-fi simply because it's a sci-fi show that has given my channel the most traction by far. So, number 1, Blade Runner. A classic that is probably blasphemous to not have seen in the eyes of most of the sci-fi community, but I want to preference this by saying that even though Battlestar happens to be one of my favorite shows of all time, and I thus happen to pick The Expanse as my first reaction ever, I'm not a giant sci-fi buff. I would say that my sci-fi consumption over the course of my lifetime as a boy and a man has been typical of someone who is on the nerdier side of things. I've seen a good amount, I've missed a good amount, and Blade Runner just happens to be something that I missed, so I'd like to amend that. Number 2, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Everything I just said about Blade Runner can be said about this sci-fi classic, though I am probably a little more disappointed in myself with not yet seeing 2001: A Space Odyssey. There are friends that I know who barely consume sci-fi and yet say this is one of their favorite movies of all time. So it really seems like it's a movie for everyone. Number 3, The Fifth Element. I'm putting this here simply because it is one of my wife's favorite sci-fi movies of all time, and she has definitely not consumed as much sci-fi at all as I have in her lifetime, so I just got to see what this movie's about. All I know is that Bruce Willis is in it, and that girl who dresses up in orange, who my wife wants to dress up as one of these up-and-coming Halloweens. Number 4, A Princess Bride. Not sci-fi, but still very much a classic. And I wouldn't be surprised if me never having seen this movie caused more of an uproar than anything else on this list. Though I think I may have watched some parts when I was very young, so thus I may recognize some scenes in the moment, but I don't remember anything about the characters nor the plot, so it would essentially be a first viewing. Finally, number 5, Furiosa: A Mad Max Saga. I wouldn't call this one sci-fi, but one could argue that it is maybe sci-fi adjacent. I've seen Mad Max Fury Road, but none of the movies from the 80s. This was a suggestion from one of my Patreon supporters, Jason. Now, I've heard mixed reviews of this movie, but there have been so many movies in my life that have gotten mixed reviews that I found way to my liking. And who doesn't love Anya Taylor-Joy at this point? I think Queen's Gambit is one of the greatest things I've ever watched. So there's the list, everyone. Please vote and expect the winner to get reacted to before we start on season 2 of The Expanse. Now on to the recap. Let's start with Fred Johnson and his speech. He made the big reveal last episode that the ships that were built to blow up the Kant and the Donninger were actually built by Earth. I don't have too much more to say about that I didn't say in the last outro. I rather want to focus on what he said earlier in his speech because I found it so interesting. I'm talking about the part where he described the generations of separation between humans on Earth and humans on the belt. Well, basically now Earthers have they now look at the Belters as different species entirely. Not only has these generations of separation infused a difference in culture between the two groups, they've also fascinatingly created a difference in anatomy and physiology. There are so many things to talk about here. It's all so interesting. First, kudos to the show for once again presenting a current world issue in a new light that still logically fits into this narrative. This is a new form of racism. And would there be a different term for this branch of racism in 200 years? Sure. But, you know, if you're an Earther and you know there are people out there who have more brittle bones than you and like their lungs can't even stand your gravity, well, that's not a far cry from disability discrimination that people experience in this day. But there's also something else that is probably coming in the much closer future that could even more closely resemble what The Expanse is describing right here. What I'm referring to is the gene editing wave that is coming. Using tools like CRISPR, I believe we already have the ability to insert or delete genes from one's DNA to prevent devastating diseases, and that's an amazing thing. But the scientific community already feels that what this is going to evolve into are parents with a lot of money paying for their fetus's DNA to be altered to give them advantages both physically and cognitively. And of course, there are going to be so many people with not enough money to be able to do that. And so one can imagine how this could lead to future discrimination. So those are just my thoughts on this aspect of the show. I'm sorry if it was a little heavy, and I hope I didn't offend anyone in any way in there. Obviously, I cannot relate to people who experience racism, certain types of racism, or disability discrimination in this time period. I just thought it would be an interesting discussion to relate what the show is doing to what people may experience in our time in this day and age. All right, like I mentioned before, I was not expecting Julie to envision Miller in her final moments. It proves that they must have known each other before, right? Julie is an Earther, but she became hardcore OPA on the belt, so it's not hard to imagine that their paths did cross. Now, the explanation for Miller's obsession with Julie has been cryptic at best. All he said is that he believes in her a couple of times. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. What else? So the crew's stuck on Eros still, and Miller and Holden got that massive dose of radiation. I'm not sure how they're going to live through that one. I don't have too much more to say about the horrible experiments that Mao and his boys are performing on the citizens of Eros. On the surface, it simply seems like they want to see how this bioweapon stands up to radiation, massive doses of radiation. But I feel like there has to be something I'm missing. There has to be something a little more complicated with this experiment. Last thing I will say is that in the last episode, I theorized that Fred Johnson was playing a longer game on our crew and that there'd be a twist with the Lionel Polanski stuff. I guess the twist was that Lionel Polanski was Julie. And maybe I should have seen that coming, But that is not the same thing as Fred Johnson pulling a fast one on the crew. I guess the lingering mystery with this aspect of the show, for me, is the relationship between Johnson and Dawes, both high-level OPA members. Johnson definitely was the one, or well, I shouldn't say definitely. He claims he was the one who sent out the scopuli, but he definitely was the one who received Julie's distress calls. But both of the distress calls that she sent out, one on the Anubis and then one in Eros, were to Dawes specifically. So how does that work? Maybe Johnson thinks Dawes is on his side, but Dawes secretly wanted the Anubis mission to fail so the war could start and he could gain power in the belt. And maybe that's why he ignored Julie's distress calls. All right, guys. Nice big beefy intro for you for the last episode. I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to get into this episode. Let's go. Oh, and don't forget to vote for the movie. All right, here we go. Radiation breach, of course. People down.
The Miller's friends.
That's a stretch.
Sammy.
Where the hell is he?
No clue. He's got his own agenda. This emergency is bullshit. There's
Yeah,
no
he does.
radiation in the tunnels.
That's not the only thing that stinks. These CPM guys are a bunch of gangsters from Ceres. I don't know what game they're playing, but they're working for someone else. Hardcore mercenaries.
We're getting off this rock.
Are they OPA?
Yeah, well, the Rossi ain't all ships.
Yeah, well, even so, they shut down all access to the docks. Look, I can find you guys a place to hole up, ride this thing out.
Something terrible is happening here, and we're not sticking around to find out what. Help us get into the old mech shafts. They'll lead us to the docks.
Mech shaft.
Those things are collapsed.
Mechanical
I've
shafts.
been a copy for years. I can't even find my way through that maze.
Which is why the OPA uses them as smuggling routes.
Oh.
On every station. Eris included.
How does
Get
she
us
know that?
into them, and I'll get us through them.
Okay.
Doesn't help your case, Naomi, that you're not
Okay, I see you have a
OPA.
ride. I can unlock your ship.
Take us with you, please.
No. Sorry, that was mean.
Please. We won't be any trouble.
Oh, take her. Oh, Amos is the one shaking his head yes. Nodding his head yes.
All right, grab anything that looks like a painkiller, stims, anti-nausea.
You're gonna need a lot, boys.
Time.
You a medic?
Ice hauler.
Great.
Great.
Mephedrone.
Perfect.
Methadone. This thing probably would be hard to do that to yourself in normal times, but
See, we're cured then.
not in this time.
At least it'll be sharp or we melt from the inside out.
How long you figure we got?
A couple hours, maybe.
Damn, that's it.
You told your crew to take off without you?
Yep.
Dick.
Yeah.
Kind of dick move, yeah.
Fastest way to the docks.
It's my first time on Eros. Right?
Yeah.
First time anywhere.
I still can't believe that. Remember the Kant. Julie. Fuck you, Dresden.
Not as far as I know.
Sooner or later, they disappoint you. Few are as fortunate as Julie Mao.
Okay.
She was blessed.
Okay, what? This dribble.
She'll make her father very proud.
Then her father's a dick.
She's gonna save us all.
Will she now? Intro, woo! Turn this up. Dominic Tipper, that is Naomi. Oh, the music. That's Christian. She gets the obligatory, and you end with them. Transit system map. Oh, disgusting already. I feel like Miller got a larger dose of the radiation than Holden because he didn't get out of the room as quick.
Very good with a tool,
It's a gun.
but never shot anyone.
Half the system thinks you're some kind of outlaw hero, but you're really kind of clueless, aren't you?
Oh my god. Anime arcade. Belt version of anime. Wow.
She ain't gonna leave you here, is she?
You don't know Naomi Nagata.
Is that a yes or
What
no?
are they building out there?
Let's go ask him.
Like, there's 6 guys, heavily armed.
All right, the math sucks.
I love Miller.
Got a ship to catch, right?
Why is everything so half-cocked with you?
You wanna stay here, huh?
3/4 cocked.
Whimper. Go ahead.
Maybe there's another way out of here. A conduit, something behind the walls. Look around.
I remember that thing in the foreground. Oh God, did I waste so much money on that, or so much of my father's money on that?
You know,
I did win once though.
And naturally, you evolved into cops.
that was Semi's idea. He said, you want to be an ass, you want to be a boot.
Boy,
And which one are you now?
put it that way.
Yeah.
Julie, another vision.
Which one are you now?
Oh, wow. His beautiful eyes.
Sorry, kid.
Is this his first vision of her? Maybe I'm just getting my wires crossed in my brain. I was just thinking of her. And what are they building? Some type of transmitter, some type of antenna? CPM goon. Subtitle guy has no respect for the CPM. They call one a goon and one a cop. I know the CPM guy, he's a dick. The other one's alright. He wins, he's that lucky. This whole thing's the same thing. I can't believe it. I never win at this game. What are you gonna do? Ooh, yeah. Can't let him speak. Can't let him speak. Oh. This is like the most happy and jangly choking music I've ever experienced. At least it's better than the dead silence of No Country for Old Men. That was a disturbing scene. This one is just happy-go-lucky choking. And do this all day. UN building, New York City.
It's his back-ended way of getting retribution against Earth.
What if he's telling the truth?
What if?
Leave him.
I believe we need a full investigation of the fusion drives in question.
Those drives were built at the Bush shipyards, but for private contracts and not for us.
Not
for
for
the
the
last 2 years, every last one of them has found its way to Tycho Station. And Fred Johnson. Christian, your investigation into the OPA smugglers was instrumental in uncovering all of this. And in fact, our people have been tracking those exact fusion drives for some time now.
For how long?
Did
Several
she?
weeks. I just reviewed the entire report myself.
Okay.
You all right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Frank's death has been a strange...
Wait a minute.
Well then, if that's the case, we warn Mars that they exploit this situation at their own peril. We crack down hard on Ceres and the OPA.
Okay.
And then we expose the truth and nail Fred Johnson to it.
I
So
always like this side of it.
her, you know,
Secretary
her
General's
investigation.
convening an emergency meeting with our key contractors to discuss security, and you need to join us.
Of course.
There you are.
Her investigation into the. Oh,
Right on time, as
I
usual.
want to say something. I don't want to talk over people. Mao, of course.
Christian Avasarala, I trust you remember Jules Pierre Mao.
It's a pleasure to see you again, madame.
For me as well, monsieur.
So French? Well, that collar really looks French. All right. Sorry, guys. Let me just let him out real quick. So what I wanted to say is like her investigation into the OPA was instrumental in like, you know, tracking all this down.
She's not my kid.
She's not?
Take care of her.
Did she really just get that information from Fred Johnson's pencils? And she's acting, you know, like she's taking the credit and like that's... I feel like I'm right about that. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. So these are the mech tunnels OPA uses to transport, smuggle stuff, contraband. Yeah, once again, like I was saying earlier, the fact that Naomi knew that off the bat doesn't
Look, if he ain't over your head, you better say so now.
make it look
Shut up, I'm thinking.
great for her denial of being part of the OPA. It doesn't mean she's definitely part of it. She easily could have found that information out, you know, in many different means.
Check this out.
Oh,
This always
Alex.
used to make my kid laugh.
Oh, favorite character.
Oops, dropped it.
How sweet.
Guess I gotta keep practicing, huh?
At least you tried, man.
What you got there?
When they first dug these tunnels, they put markers down so the workers wouldn't get lost. The OPA uses them to mark the route to the docks.
Okay.
You're full of surprises.
I've heard that.
My statement stands. Doesn't help her case of denial of being in the OPA. Doesn't mean it's definitely true either.
All the CPM patrol routes are in the guy's comm. We'll be able to stay out of sight.
Oh. Did you have to? You didn't have to do that. Like, were you afraid of the ground below you? Oh, are they gonna open the, the radiation chambers? Because that's the pods is where that was occurring, right? I love the pepper Christmas lights. Definitely my favorite. Love hot peppers.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. So they put people on the pod too. This wasn't like, I don't know. Maybe the chambers, they radiated them and then they put them on the pods.
Oh, like Julie.
Yeah.
They're spreading it deliberately.
Yeah.
It's an experiment.
Yep. Figured that one
Oh,
out.
goddamn station.
Yep. Ah. Okay, well, they're not dead from the radiation, that's for
We gotta
sure.
find out who did this.
Shit.
I mean, how did she... Seems like she knew, like, this tunnel specifically. What the fuck? What did he... She's not coming back to life, is she? No freaking way.
And we're not all dying down here. We need to go back topside. Take our chances up there.
We're going the right way.
How do you know from that?
We're so close.
How do you know?
Stay back! Don't touch anything!
Did he get hit with the... Oh, fudge knuckles.
I'm good. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I said it. Oh, well, don't tell me she got
I
hit
need you to come back with me.
with the infection or
Can't
something.
stay here.
What was wrong with that lady?
She was sick.
She'll be alright.
To
But
be
we
honest.
will be if we go, but we have to go now.
That's why they picked arrows. They don't consider these people human.
Yeah, they
Mars will
don't.
accuse Earth of using a bioweapon. Earth will claim it was Mars. The Belt will blame the other two.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start a war and to cover it up.
Does look like any bioweapon you ever heard of?
We got company.
Hey.
Just like that. Holden, stop looking at Miller. Stop looking at him. Get the fucking gear, dude. You kind of got to get over it a little bit, man. I know you're paladin, but just God. For a minute, man, just get over it.
I got it.
You don't... continue getting the gear.
We're going to our ship. Come with Malada, we have room.
You can't get the docks that way. Tunnels are blocked.
You come with us. There's a hospital on level 9. Her uncle is a doctor there.
Whatever it is, it's not a sickness. It's something else.
Yeah.
We can get you off this station.
This is our home. We'll be safe at the hospital.
There's no safe place here.
We're going with them.
Let us take care of her.
Her place is with her family.
Shukri,
Are those two members of your family right there?
be brave. Come with me.
Well,
We need to go.
you can't separate a child from her mother. You can't split up a family like that. Oh, no. Okay. It's progressing in him now.
Whoa, hey. Hold on.
Oh, Kenzo. What?
tricked me.
Okay, yeah, right.
Come on, I almost got blasted getting out of that lobby, too.
All right,
You're saying
Holden.
something about help.
All the ships are on lockdown. But I can backdoor those codes. You know I can. When we help each other...
That's true.
We survive. It's just like against the Nickies, right?
He's got a point.
In the trenches. We've been through the shit together.
Fine. Kick my ass when we get out of here. Turn me in. But right now, you gotta think about your crew.
Lose your hearing. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I think you might need him, Holden.
You're not a killer. You are a good man.
Tell me why I'm a good man.
Another shift in Holden's personality that just seems
Say something.
kind of strange to me.
Your life depends on it.
Because you believe in mercy. Because you know that sometimes a man is pushed so far that he does things that he doesn't recognize.
That way.
You can't leave me here. You've seen what's happening. This is a death sentence. Holden?
I don't know. I don't know what to think of that scene. I don't have a good reaction to that scene. I'm just like, what? It's just kind of another. I'll have to marinate on that one, folks.
This was the way.
She definitely knew this tunnel specifically, if it wasn't obvious already. Is this gonna work? Just kick it? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's... Alright, cool.
This is it.
Just kick it, just like with Holden and the antenna in episode 2, I want to say? Yeah, 2.
Step is a doozy.
Lovely stars.
You need to go to Luna for a while. Take the little ones. Frank knew those drives were stolen. He didn't commit suicide.
Oh.
If Aaron Wright really did have Frank killed, then you're not safe here either.
I will be for a time.
Huh. Really?
So long as
Really?
I play a familiar role. The stubborn old woman. Eyes locked on yesterday's game. Too blind to see the world has passed her by.
She's playing a game? What game?
We're good.
What do you mean we don't leave from here? This is where we told to be.
Your rendezvous point has changed. Your men now leave from Dock 4, Berth F.
That's the other side of the dock. You already moved most of your people, yeah?
Keep dosing, boys.
Fastest way to my ship is through all of them.
Holden didn't make it.
Not yet.
Passengers are all tucked in below.
Point me to a console so I can override the clamps.
We're not leaving yet.
What?
You heard me.
Hey. These mercs, they locked down all these ships so that no one could leave. All right, they got cameras on all the docks. They could be here any minute. We gotta push off.
I promised Holden 3 hours. He still has time.
He didn't make it. End of story.
We're waiting.
All right. Look,
Naomi.
I understand how you feel, all right? Everybody that I give a damn about is on this station, including Miller, and they're all either dead or dying. So if we stick around here, we run the risk of getting killed.
He's right.
We owe Holden.
I don't listen to a goddamn thing.
Amos.
Shooting me isn't going to get you out of here.
Get me access to the console so that I can unlock the clamps.
Whoa. Settle down.
You stand by to drive us out of here.
Alex, you don't do it.
Amos, fire up those consoles.
Oh, Amos gotta listen to him, huh?
I think I'll shoot.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right, well, Semi not lasting long should not surprise me.
Wait, boss.
All right, Amos
I'm
still.
just gonna put this below.
Wow. Amos is a dog off his leash. Yeah, he's strictly loyal to Naomi.
Now hold this line, big man. You already moved most of your people, yeah? You got some room for us? They ain't never gonna let us.
Oh, it's Miller.
Just meet for the machine. Hey, just like all them other belters back there, yeah?
I don't know about that accent, Miller.
Blood's on the wall, but right now.
But I mean, he is a belter, so maybe it's just me. Definitely starting something. Should we get to the elevator, right? Is that the door you need to go through, or? All right, cool. Oh, that's Cathari. I didn't recognize him.
He had it coming.
There's. It is a long story. There's his revenge for Havelock. Who, man, we haven't seen in a minute since the hospital bed scene. Hope we see him again. But he's back on series, so unless we get a POV.
How could you ever leave a place like Earth?
Everything I loved was dying.
Hello? Anybody down there?
Oof, God, yeah. He's gotta be weak.
I was never worried. She's gone. I thought if I could find
No, she's not.
Julie, finally know something.
You did find her, Miller.
It's beautiful.
Another vision.
You guys look like shit.
Amos. Let's look at that stuff. Wonder what he's gonna think about.
You're pretty messed
that.
up. What is this semi timber down there? Yes. I shot him.
You waited. Knew I was right about you.
Being in charge is a shit job. You can have it.
I can't get the clamps to release. Tried every code in the book.
Alex, deal with it.
No, wait, what is your deal with shouting at Alex? I really don't like it.
You are a gunship, and I am a Navy pilot, so...
Yeah, just gotta break away from the clamps.
To hell with this gas hollow bullshit.
Oh, he's just like... Okay, he's wiping away, you know, what they welded to the Rocinante to... As a decoy, as a disguise. As a disguise, not a decoy. All the gas vessels, gas containers. All right. Gunship true and true. Nice shot. What is that? Dresden, there must be...
Send it all to Thoth.
Thoth.
Transmitting now. Hello? People, I think we just gotta fix on the bad guys.
Okay, so yeah, that ship Dresden was on.
We saved a few. We should have saved more.
We will.
What's going on here? Well, I mean, Eros is never going to be habitable again, or, you know, for however many hundreds of thousands of years, or blah, 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 half-life this and that. Or if they're going to just, you know, blow it up. Probably should, which is really sad. I should say they probably will, which is really sad. Oh, Kenzo. Uh-oh, man. You couldn't go back to the docks after Holden was gone? What the fuck is going on, man? Oh, man. That's how it ends. Wow. That's how the season ends. Holy crap. When I first started this journey, I couldn't picture this moment. All right, season 1 of The Expanse down. I can't believe we did it. Yeah, when I first started the series, I couldn't picture getting to this moment. Yeah, and thanks all for coming on the journey with me. And I hope we can continue on this journey and have a lot more other journeys together as well. So, yeah, like my thoughts are going to be scattered again, just in the last outro. And I'll give, once again, a better, more articulate recap of Season 10 at the beginning of Season 2, Episode 1. A recap of this episode specifically, but also, you know, my thoughts on the whole season entirely. I'll focus on just the episode right now. Now, you all have taught me that this is not where Book 1 ends. Book 1 ends Season 2, Episode 5, I want to say. And so maybe one might ask, well, why did this not continue longer and end where the book ended? Probably logistics. Probably they just got greenlit for 10 episodes, so that's what they did. And, you know, they needed to end it on a good spot. And I think they did end it on a good spot, them getting off of Eros. But I also can see how that's probably not how the author would have ended book one. So that all makes sense. So our crew is off Eros. Miller is with them. I got my fucking wish. Let's see if there's going to be fallout between Miller and Amos because Amos killed Semi. Because he's trigger happy. He's been called out a few times before, and I definitely agree. How can you not agree? They got a lot of radiation, but I think they're going to be okay taking those meds on Eros, and then they got those whatever those contraptions are on their arm that look the way Holden was looking at Naomi at the end was rather interesting. I don't know if there's going to be something there with them. We'll see. I mean, Naomi did not leave Holden, but she also was simply listening to his time frame of departure. I know it didn't hit 3 hours yet. Now, with Miller and Julie, he's having flashes of her, visions of her, like she did of him, which I still didn't get an explanation for there. I'm starting to think maybe there was something romantic in between them, especially that vision in the arcade kind of gave me that. So we'll see. I mean, Julie has such piercing eyes, doesn't she? So let's see. Let's talk about Christian and Mao and the UN. And so obviously, it should have been obvious that Mao has connections in the UN. And was he behind the ships that were built on the Bush naval base that started all this and is probably going to start the war, be the catalyst that starts the war? I guess he's French, so with his turtleneck makes him look French, so he's probably French. Yeah, I think his first name was French. I told you this was going to be a scattered thought thing, so I apologize. Now, Christian, I wonder if I'm right in my theory that her boss, which has a name, and I've seen the name, but that's one I still haven't grasped on. He's like, your work into like the investigation to the OPA got us this information, the information of the drives of these ships, but did she get that from Frank's pencils? Or was he just talking about the Fred Johnson stuff that he transmitted out into public domain? Ooh, now I realize I might be off the mark there. So I'll have to think about that one a little more, see what my thoughts are there. But Christian does seem to have decided to play a long game and maybe play dumb in some way to keep her, to keep her alive. And definitely she has a means to an end in some way. So we'll see what she's cooking up. She told her husband to take their children or their child. I don't know if they have just one left now. To Luna, the moon. So yeah, we'll see where she goes. I'd love to see some like undercover stuff with her. Yeah, because she wanted that spy. She wanted to get. I'm remembering this now. She wanted to get access to Kenzo, and of course that didn't happen because of what Kenzo jumping ship onto the Rossi. Let's see. So it looks like the crew got locked onto Dresden's ship at the end. So that's good. We don't want them to get away, and that'll be a way for our crew to gather more intel and just another stepping stone to hopefully the truth at the end of the day. Still so many threads left open, which, I'm sure is normal for the end of a season, and is even normal for the end of a season that doesn't end when the book ends. So what else could I expect? Oh, let's see. What else can I talk about? The crew. So the crew and Miller are no longer a separate narrative thread. So, and Fred Johnson wasn't in this episode. So I really just got the two threads, right? The UN with Christian and all the stuff that was going down on Eros. That last scene with Kenzo was kind of nuts, though. Yeah, I I still don't know what all that is. It still looks extraterrestrial to me. And I guess when I say extraterrestrial, I don't mean just not Earth. I mean not this like solar system. So yeah, I'm curious to see where all that goes. Oh, and just I'll go back and say again that I feel like Naomi kind of proved that she was OPA. She like knew that mech tunnel in Eros specifically, so that seems sus to say the least. Yeah, I mean, but if she is or was OPA, it doesn't mean she was wholeheartedly evil or anything. She said in an episode way earlier that they don't all know each other and they're not all terrorists. And then you all taught me that there are like a huge spectrum of factions from peaceful to, like I said in a previous outro, terroristic. All right. Yeah, I think I've expended myself. This is probably going to be a long video, so I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you all for experiencing this reaction with me in this final episode of The Expanse. I really loved it. I love that I started with this for my first reaction. If you like my style, then please leave a like, subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. Also ring that bell. I haven't been saying that, but I think you need to do that to get notifications as well. And if you like to support me further, you can find a link to my Patreon below where you can get access to early edited videos and full-length reactions as well. Don't forget to vote on the poll. It should be on my channels under post right as we speak. So thank you all so much, and I'm going to see you in Season 2, but even before that, I'll see you with whatever movie reaction wins. Take care, guys.